Coming in hot from Arizona, this is Trevor
and Troy Howard.
And you're on SoTellUs Time. You can have everything you want in your business. Sometimes you just need a little help.
Every business owner would love to charge more for their services, but sometimes you can sacrifice long-term loyalty for a short-term profit.
Creating the right rituals is key to your business having success.
Are you tired of competing with your competitors? Guess what? You don't have to compete if you create.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of SoTellUs Time. We're excited to be back with you guys. We've been traveling, doing some events, and it's fun, but it's not always fun. Especially when you go to events that weren't put on well, unfortunately. So anybody that is out there, any of our listeners that do events, you'll probably know what we're talking about. But we've been doing events since '98.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that this particular event we went to this last week in Orlando was the worst event I've ever been to.
Absolutely.
And I have, since '98, I have been to some pretty bad events before, which I thought was. But this one by far takes the cake. Woohoo! Gotta learn, though, when we're doing new things, new events, meeting new people, going to these different places. Lots of promises and lots of failures sometimes. And that's okay. Now we know we won't be attending that event again. But that's part of business. Ups and downs, highs and lows, successes and failures. Woo! Today, we're going to be talking about time is not always money. You've probably heard that saying, time is money. Yeah, my time is valuable. Time is money, man. Well, guess what? Time is not always money. In fact, I'll give you the perfect example, and then I'm going to let Troy run with the rest of this bad boy. I'll stop ranting and raving like I always do. But we had a client one time that came to us and said, hey, I just don't have enough business. I'm not getting enough jobs. I'm not making enough money. I need more money and more business. I need more jobs. And we were like, okay, cool. And he's like, but I don't have any money, so I can't pay you to help me get more jobs. And we were like, okay, no problem. We'll just help you out. And so Troy actually spent his time teaching him how to use this product that we have called the Post Place. And you can post these articles. It's content marketing, keyword-rich articles that rank in the search engines and get you lots of exposure, which results in lots of jobs, okay? Troy taught him how to do it and spent his time doing this. And at the end of it, he goes, well, I don't have the time for this. And we're like, what? Troy's like, what are you talking about? You just said you don't have jobs, which means you've got time.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't have time for this. And really what it was is he didn't want to spend the time to do what was going to make him money. He thought his time was so valuable that it was not worth it to do this work, which would have resulted in more jobs. We have thousands of clients utilizing the Post Place, kicking butt, right?
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't do it. So he was totally missing that concept. He's like, I don't have any money. I don't have any jobs. And we're like, we'll do this. And he's like, well, I don't have time. I don't have time for that. And it's like,
it was pretty funny. I remember saying to him, I'm like, look, you clean carpets.
Yeah.
So if you're not cleaning carpets,
right,
then you have nothing but time.
Yes.
Because you're not doing anything else in the business. He was a solo, owner operator.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was managing employees. He wasn't, there was nothing else for him to do if he wasn't actually out cleaning carpets. But he's like, nope, I don't have time.
I don't have time. I mean, I guess he valued watching TV more than he really valued making money, which is hilarious to me. It's crazy. So people think time is money, but that's not always the case, right?
Yep.
All
Exactly.
right, Troy, let's jump into it and give these guys some examples.
Yeah, so we're going to give you some examples of, because here's the thing, depending on where you're at in your business and the success of your business, you may not have money, which means you need to sacrifice your time to do things that are going to make you more money.
Yeah.
But then there's also, as your business grows, you have to kind of shift, right? You have to shift your focus to where now it's like, hey, you know what? I don't have enough time. So how can I spend money that's going to save me time and let me focus on the next thing I need to do to grow my business?
Because the only time that time is money is when you making a lot of money.
Right.
If you're making a lot of money, your time is valuable. But if
Exactly.
you're not making money, your time's not valuable.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't mean to offend, but
Yeah, don't mean to offend you, but I just got to give it to you straight.
all right. So let's talk about kind of the two different scenarios. Again, Trevor just gave a great example of the carpet cleaner. It's like if you're not cleaning carpets, then you have time to do marketing and all those other things. If you're cleaning carpets, then you're making money.
Yeah.
So another way is another way to look at it is, again, if you're like in the home service industry,
Sure.
We always talk about the 5 around.
I love this.
And what the 5 around is I want you to imagine, let's say you're a window washer and you just clean the windows of a house and you're getting ready to leave that house. Instead of walking away, you take a flyer or a door hanger and you go to both houses on either side of the house you just cleaned. And then you go to the 3 houses across the street.
Yep.
So that's why it's called the 5 around. You're going to go around to the 5 nearest houses, and you're going to either knock on the door and talk to them and give them a special offer, or you're going to put a door hanger on there, you're going to put a flyer on the door, whatever it is. But it's going to take you a few minutes
Yep.
to market to the neighbors of the person you just did an amazing job for.
That's right.
And it's actually a very effective way to generate new business, right? Because they can see the work you just did. They can talk to their neighbor and they can tell them like, oh yeah, no, they were awesome. Like my windows look amazing, right? So it's a great way to kind of, get that proof behind it. And you're targeting people that are, hopefully your target market.
Right.
Right? Because their neighbor bought your services, so there's a good chance that they'll probably buy your services.
That's right.
So, as a beginning business, the 5 around is a great way. It's a very cost-effective way to drum up more business.
And that's an example, just to clarify, because you're about to give the next one, right? That's an example for people who need to spend time doing it because they don't necessarily have the money to do it.
Exactly.
And now you're going to talk about the money.
Yeah.
Right?
So as a business grows and you hire crews and they're going around, one of the biggest things I hear from business owners that, especially home services that have crews, they're like, oh man, like when I went out there and I did it, I would do the 5 around every single time and I would get jobs.
Yep.
But my crews, they just won't do it. You know? They just
You have
don't.
employees that won't do their job.
Yeah, exactly. And they say it, I can't tell you how many times I hear it. They just won't do it.
Yeah.
And even though it's going to get them more jobs, well, guess what? They don't really care about more jobs, right?
Right.
They're getting a paycheck,
Yep.
and what they care about is their paycheck, right? And they should understand more jobs means more of a paycheck.
Right.
But a lot of times they don't. All they
Right.
care about is I want to get my next 2 jobs done so that I can go home for the day. So that 5 around tends to disappear. Now, what do? Well, now you're making more money, so you look for ways to trade that money to get back that time, right?
Right.
And one example of that, one of my favorite examples of that is from a company called SendGym.
Which we've talked about a bunch on here.
Oh yeah, we love SendGym,
Yes.
and they have an automated way to do the 5 around, where basically your crew can just hit a button on an app on the phone, and boom, it automatically mails out that postcard, that special offer, whatever it is you want to give, to those 5 houses right around the job.
Yeah. So for all of you that have those lazy employees that won't do what you ask them to do, and I'm not trying to dog on you. Trust me, I understand.
We've all had those
We've
employees.
all had those employees, but we've talked about in the past about creating that core crew. So for you people that don't have your core crew yet, because I know you're working on it,
Right.
you can use systems like this that then do that work for you.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you're trading a little bit of money.
Yep.
But you're getting more time back, and you're making sure the things are done that helped you grow your business in the
Yes.
first place. All right, so now let's go on to the next one. I'm going to share another story with you guys. This is one of our clients, Peace Frog Carpet Cleaning. And I love this story. I remember when he first told it to me, I was like, no way. This is so smart. So he was a carpet cleaner. And he was in Austin, Texas. He was just starting out, and he didn't really know how to market his business, didn't have any clients. And he's like, well, shoot, I need to get some clients. So what am I going to do?
And this story is like, there are so many people that would not do this.
No.
Most people wouldn't, and it's awesome.
Yeah. So what he did is, because he didn't have any clients and he didn't have any money to market to get clients, he just decided that he was going to go and he was going to clean people's carpets for free. So he would show up and be like, hey,
People are
look,
like, what?
we're a new carpet cleaner in the area, and we're just trying to introduce ourselves and get to know the people in the area. And so what we'd like to do is like to come in, we'd like to clean your carpets for free today. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm sure people were like, what?
What's the scam here?
Yeah, what's the catch? And it's like, no catch. I'm just literally going to clean your carpets. And that's what he would do. He would come in, he would clean the carpets, and then he would ask them to refer their friends and family. So now think about it. You just clean their carpets for free. Like, they owe you.
Totally. And they love you.
And they love you because they just saw the work that you did, and they know that they can trust you. So what do? They referred their friends and family over.
Not to mention, you just gained a client that in 6 months, you're going to hit back up and say, hey, now that you know how great a job I do, can I come back? And I've got a special for our prices are normally this, but I've got a special for you today because you let me start out with you, 6 months ago. And then, you just keep that moving forward.
Yeah. So what happened? He built up a huge customer base.
Huge.
And he didn't ever need to give away free carpet cleaning again because he had so many customers, he had so many referrals coming in from those customers that he grew a ginormous carpet cleaning company. And what I loved about it was eventually, like, he didn't even show up to work anymore.
Yeah.
He had this entire team that was doing everything, and he just traveled the world.
Yeah, I was going to say, he literally traveled all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, just to give you an idea, he met a woman in, I think it was the Philippines, and fell in love with her, married her, but she couldn't get a visa to come back to the United States. So he just lived over there moved to the Philippines until he could get her visa.
Which means he lived like a king.
Yeah.
A king, because he had a big company making a lot of money. And over in the Philippines, you're going to live like a king that way.
Yeah, but I want you to think about that for a second. We're not talking about like some tech guy who, is traveling the world, running his business from a laptop. We're talking about someone who started a carpet cleaning business that is just on autopilot and is traveling the world, enjoying his life. And how did he do it? He did it by starting out by giving away free carpet cleaning.
Yeah.
To get business. Now, again, I think it's important to understand, like Trevor said, most people would never do it.
No, most people would never do that. They'd be like, my time is worth more than that. Well, that's great. You take your time, all that time you have that's worth so much money, and go make no money.
Exactly.
Come on. Get off your high horse and either put in the work so you can get to where you got the money, or spend the money so you get back the time, right?
Exactly. And that's literally what Peace Frog did.
That's so awesome.
I mean, he not only did he get some of his time back, he got all of his time back.
Yeah.
By, building a successful business the right way. All right. Anything else, Trevor, before we get to the homework?
No, I mean, you know what? Sometimes, guys, just getting out there and hustling. It's very interesting. People ask us all the time, how have you guys been so successful? And it's funny. As people see our business and they know more about it, they're blown away at how successful we actually have been. And they say, how'd you do that? And I'm like, hard work.
Yeah.
We worked really hard. We didn't take money. All these other companies, it's funny because with some of our products, the competitors that we have, they have all taken funding now. All of them. Because they weren't being successful doing it on their own.
Yeah.
And yet here we are kicking butt, adding new clients every month, growing like crazy. And we're not taking any money from anybody. And that's really what people think nowadays. It's like, oh, I got to take funding. I got to go out and get my first round, and I got to get my seed funding and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. But you know what? I think there is something to be said about hustling. And another company, like in the maid service, for instance, and I've given this example before, but it's a good one as a good reminder. We were at a maid event, and everybody was talking about this business that was growing like crazy in just 6 months. And getting bigger than a lot of these maid services that had been around for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why? What is the greatest success? And I asked a bunch of people, and they were like, well, I mean, they just do it different. They go out and they have people knocking doors and just introducing themselves and saying, hey, we're new in the area. We'd love to give you this special, and da-da-da. They're knocking doors. I said, well, why don't you do that? Oh, I would never do that. I would never go out and knock doors. And I'm like, but you're sitting here telling me that they are so successful, that they're growing bigger than you in 6 months than you are after 10 years. Here's your sign. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Here's your sign. Hopefully you do know what I'm talking about when I say that. I'm not going to tell you, but maybe just Google that and see, because it's really funny. You'll enjoy it and have a good time. All right, everybody, let's jump into the homework, okay?
Okay.
So what I want you to do this week is determine where you are at in your business and make a plan to either sacrifice time for the things that will grow your business or transition to spending money to free up your time so that you can focus on your next growth strategy. Okay? Either spend the time or spend the money, but get it done.
Yes.
And a lot of times, just hard work and hustle can crush it. And sometimes we'll share our story. I mean, I was a high school dropout that barely then did graduate. And no, I didn't get a GED. I actually did graduate and get a diploma. I was married when I got a diploma. I mean, our story of how we built this and grew, I think will blow a lot of people's minds. But when it comes down to it, it was hard work, dedication, devotion, and willing to do what others weren't. And which is, again, just kind of rolls back to working super hard, you know?
Yep.
We'll share that story another time, guys. All right. Hey, thanks so much for being with us. We love you so much. We love doing SoTellUs Time. As we always tell you, please like, share, comment, jump on YouTube. Look us up. You can find us under SoTellUs or SoTellUs Time. We are all over like Instagram, Facebook, pretty much anywhere you want to be. We're all over all the podcast channels, everything. So you can find us, you can share us, and you can tell your friends and family about us. We love you, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode of SoTellUs Time.